welcome to the Say Yes to What's Next podcast, where embracing change can ignite a world of possibilities. Hey now, and welcome back. I'm your host, Elise Ancel, and I'm excited to have you tune in for another episode of the Say Yes to What's Next podcast. Today, we're going to weigh in on the impacts disruptions can have on our lives. We can all agree that life has a way of disrupting our plans when we least expect it. And when that happens, saying yes to new opportunities requires us to choose adaptability over control. It means recognizing that while our original path may no longer be possible, new routes can still bring unexpected growth and fulfillment. So, when we embrace unplanned opportunities, it builds resilience and expands our comfort zones and often reveals strengths we didn't know we had. Sometimes our best experiences come from letting go of certainty and staying open to what life has in store. But let's be real, disruptions seem to come at the worst times. They shake up the status quo and force us to rethink our approach. And when too many hit back to back, they can feel overwhelming, even paralyzing. And if we're not careful, the fear of failure, disappointment, or embarrassment can stop us from trying altogether. We start to settle, letting disruptions define our new normal. But we can't let them become our baseline. Instead, we have to rise up, get through those difficult moments, and embrace what's waiting on the other side. If we can keep our emotions in check, these disruptions often lead to new possibilities we'd never have considered. Recently, I was hit by a disruption that shook me. Just when I thought I'd adjusted to my latest yes, another curveball was thrown my way. One that felt like an attack on my very peace of mind, trying to knock the wind out of me. Well, that's how it felt at the time. Right in the middle of me gathering my thoughts on what I'd be sharing in this episode, events were happening in the background I was unaware of. I discovered someone took personal belongings from what was supposed to be in a secure environment. It was as if the rug had been pulled out from under me and I could hardly catch my breath. All I could think was, who would do something like this? This incident changed the whole direction of this episode. I thought I'd be talking about a previous disruption, but no, this was the one that took center stage. Imagine, if you will, coming home to find everything gone. Furniture, appliances, clothes. Your life as you once knew has just changed. Thankfully, my experience wasn't quite that extreme, but I hope you get the visual. So in that moment, the frustration hit hard because I realized I would no longer have these prized possessions. As you can imagine, I felt powerless, knowing that even if I'm compensated, those items could not be replaced. So what do you do? What would you do? You stand up, you take a breath, and figure out your next move. As I've said before, sometimes we're frustrated by sudden change simply because we haven't figured out how to leverage it as a stepping stone towards something better. But for me, in that moment, I got a glimpse right in the middle of my frustration on how the situation might actually push me in a new direction sooner than I had planned. I won't pretend I wasn't upset. I was. But I didn't want to be held hostage to that moment and let it cloud my ability to move forward. So for me, my yes in that moment meant refusing to let this incident consume me, knowing that unresolved trauma can linger if we're not careful. Instead, I decided to speak up, to share what happened, and to reach out to the right people to prevent this from happening to anyone else. Someone close to me reminded me there are no losses, only lessons. Something definitely to think about, but in that moment, I wasn't trying to hear it. But in the meantime, I'll keep moving forward with intention, processing, and progressing at the same time, even when things don't fully make sense. This could have been worse, and for that, I'm thankful. I was able to file an insurance claim, but even that can't replace what was lost. In the grand scheme of things, my experience was a minor setback. Many people face much harder disruptions, losing a loved one, dealing with an unexpected diagnosis, or coping with job loss. These types of losses can leave us feeling immobilized because no insurance claim, money, or comforting words can make up for the pain. So the real question is, how do we move past the disruption, especially when we experience fear, failure, or a significant loss? And how do we make sure that these negative experiences don't taint future opportunities? So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a few questions to think about. When life throws you a curveball, how do you handle it? Do you tend to feel stuck, or can you see a path forward? Sometimes it's easy to feel paralyzed by fear or disappointment, but maybe there's a chance to see these disruptions as gateways to something new. Think about the last time you faced a disruption. Was there a moment where you caught yourself feeling powerless? How did you manage that feeling? Or what helped you get back to a place of calm and clarity? There's so much power in building resilience. If you can let go of the urge to control every outcome, you might find that adaptability opens up a lot of freedom and possibilities. And if you're like me, you've probably had moments where saying yes led to unexpected growth. Think about the times when that yes took you somewhere new. What was it that made you open to the opportunity? And going forward, how can you ensure that past setbacks don't hold you back from new chances that could be waiting just around the corner? As we all keep moving forward, let's remember that sometimes the things that seem like losses are really lessons. So next time you're faced with an unexpected disruption, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What strength can I find within myself? It's these types of questions that help us find purpose, even in the most unexpected places. Because in the end, disruptions don't have to be setbacks, they can be pivots to your next. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Say Yes to What's Next. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Until the next time.